Hey, great afternoon, everybody. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. As you're coming in the room, say hello. Come on in the room. Happy Tuesday to everyone. Welcome to Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. I am Dr. Shavonna Whitehead, and it's always my privilege, my honor, and my pleasure to come and join you right here every Tuesday at 1 p.m. just to give you a little push and a little encouragement. Listen, I missed you all last week, but I am back. So come on, as you're coming in the room, say hello. Come on, as you're coming in the room, say hello. Hey, Nella, how are you? Yep, as you're coming in the room, say hello. Hope everyone's day is off to an amazing start, but most of all, that you are enjoying your week and you are preparing yourself for the holidays. Because listen, the holidays is not just about the gifts and everything. The holidays is about creating memories, showing love, bringing hope, smiles, laughter. So listen, you may not have everything you want underneath the tree, but you are alive to celebrate. Hey, Marnay, how are you? And so I am super excited to be back with you today. Hey, Melissa, how are you? And so listen, we are talking about something that many people don't like to talk about. Gratitude for closed doors. I understand that many of us, we are celebrating, we are going into a season of the open door, and I am preparing myself for every open door that the Lord has for me. I'm doing the work, I'm posturing myself, I'm preparing myself. But I want us to not forget that we ought to express gratitude for closed doors. A lot of us get angry when doors are closed. Some of us get frustrated when doors are closed. We get uncomfortable. But I want to challenge you today that there is a blessing in a closed door. We got to learn how to be grateful for the doors that have closed. And so as always, I like words. And so I want to give you the definition of door. There are three definitions of the word door. The first thing is a movable solid barrier that opens and closes an entranceway. It slides and it turns on its hinges. But here's the second definition. It's an approach, an admittance, or access. Oh, did y'all hear that? It's an approach, an admittance, or access. Doors, here's the third one. Doors can also mark the entrance or an exit from one place to another. Hey, Latanya, how are you? Doors can also mark an entrance or an exit from one place to another. And most of the time, when we talk about a closed door, we have mixed emotions because we want to celebrate exits. We want to celebrate entrances. But what do you do when you have to be faced with the celebration that the door didn't open, or the celebration that the door was once open and now it's closed? Because many of us fail to realize that if some doors were not closed, some of us would be in a state of destitute right now. If some doors did not close, some of us will be stuck in deadless cycles. If some doors were not closed, if some access was not cut off, some of us would literally be stuck in an ongoing cycle because we could not make the decision ourselves. And I know you're probably saying, Dr. Vaughn, I am praising God for the open door. Me too. But I'm also praising him for the doors that he didn't let open. I'm also praising him for the doors that my emotions got me tied to, but God shut the door so I didn't kill myself. I'm also excited about the door that he shut because the people couldn't handle me or where I was going. I celebrate the doors that he closed because he knew that beyond that door was going to be somebody that was going to take advantage of me. Beyond that door was going to be somebody that was going to abuse me. Beyond that door was going to be somebody that was going to take everything I had. Beyond that door was going to be something that was going to be devastating for me. And so I had to change my perspective and start thanking God for the closed door. Come on here. Hey D, how are you? I had to thank him for the closed door because let's only because I saw Deanna. Truth be told, the fact of the matter is some of the open doors that we're praying for God to open, we're not ready for. Okay, y'all don't like that one. Some of the open doors that we're praying for God to open, we ain't ready for. Some of us are praying for God to open up a door of new housing, but we haven't gotten our current finances together. So you want him to open up a door for housing where you got more bills, more responsibility, but you're struggling with the bills and the responsibility you have now. So you're angry with God because he won't open the door. The door is still closed to new housing, but you got to master this side of the door. Come on, somebody got to type in the comments. I got to master this side of the door. I have to master this side of the door. Some of you are wanting promotions at jobs and stuff and trying to figure out why you're applying. But the fact of the matter is you haven't taken the time to get the credentials that you need on this side to soar on that side. But you're mad because the door won't open. Okay, let me go further. It's going to be touchy today. Don't worry. Some of you are wanting to be married and you're wanting significant others, but the fact of the matter is you don't even treat yourself right. Okay, I can't hear nobody but God. I said, some of you want to be married. You want these relationships, but you don't even treat yourself right. So you want somebody else to treat you the way you don't treat you. Come on here. I'm trying to help somebody today. Trying to help somebody. You got to learn how to master this side of the door. Most of us are praying for open doors, but we haven't gotten this side of the door. So we're angry that we walked up to the door and the door didn't swing wide open, but God understood that you were not ready for the other side of the door. Can you handle the corridor called in between? Can you handle the fact that there is a place there's a hallway in between one door to another? If you can't master the corridor called in between, how can you master going through the door? I can't hear nobody. How can you master going through the door when you can't even handle the corridor called in between? You left out of one door, you're in the corridor of in between, and you're already frustrated. You already got an attitude. Your disposition is off. You're already touchy. You're already emotional. You already got an attitude in the in between. How do you expect God to open up the door when you get to the door? I can't hear nobody but God. Come on here. So here it is. There are mixed emotions when we talk about the closed doors. There are mixed emotions when we talk about this. Confusion, and sometimes because we pray and we know what God said. But here's what you have to understand. You got to prepare for what God said. Somebody got to type in the comments, I got to prepare for what God said. I have to prepare for what God said. Sometimes the door is still closed because you ain't ready. I know y'all thought this was going to be a shout moment. You know, sometimes the door is not open because you're not ready. You got to prepare for what you prayed for. You got to prepare for what God said. Listen, let me help you understand something. Another thing, closed doors help you prepare to move. Closed doors cause you to shift. Closed doors cause you to actually change your posture. Let me prove it to you. I like to prove it to you. Here it is. The provision at the brook dried up, so it caused Elijah to have to move. Oh God. The provision at the brook dried up, so it forced him to have to move. Oh God. And it caused him to go to the widow of Zarephath. Okay, all I got is Bible. Here's the thing. Elijah was taken up into heaven in order to release Elisha into ministry. What? Elisha had to be taken up, so the access from Elisha to Elisha had to be cut off so that Elisha could be pushed into ministry. Oh, help me, God. Sometimes the access has to be cut off for you to stand flat-footed in who you are. Sometimes the access has to be cut off so that you can stand flat-footed in who you are. Sometimes we take the job of a mentor beyond what it should be. Instead of us developing in what we are and allowing God to birth us into, we start to mimic and we start to rely solely on the person God put in our life. And sometimes God will cut off access so that you can become who you need to be. Okay. All right. Here's the next thing. Paul was shipwrecked so that he could land and preach in places he would have never reached had he not been overthrown. Come on here. Paul was shipwrecked and he landed preaching in places he would have never reached if he had not been overthrown. Okay, let me go further since y'all don't like that one. Ruth was widowed at a young age so that she could be positioned to remarry and be successful in business. I'll say it again. Ruth was widowed at a young age so that she could remarry and be successful in business. What am I trying? Come on here, God. What am I trying to say to you? Sometimes you have to realize there are certain access that have to be cut off to actually catapult you and shift the very trajectory of where you're supposed to go. But many of us, we want the fun thing. We want the comfortable thing. But you have to realize that there are some things that have to happen in order for other things to happen. Oh God, there are some things that have to happen in order for other things to happen. Okay, let me paint the picture. If you would have stayed in the relationship back then and built what you wanted to build, you would have never realized that there is a level of resilience. There's a level of purpose and destiny in you that could not be held in that container of that relationship. Okay. If you did not get the pink slip from that job, you would have never realized that there were other things in business that were locked up inside of you that you needed to explore. Okay. If they did not reject you per se in that ministry, you would have stayed connected because of loyalty instead of moving into the place that will birth you into where you need to be. Sometimes you have to realize it's not rejection, it's protection. The actual closed door actually becomes the very vehicle to your blessing and your miracle. The closed door becomes the very catalyst that will actually produce what you need. But some of you don't want what you need, you want what you want. Okay. I said some of you don't want what you need, you want what you want. And because you want what you want, you're missing the ability to obtain what you need. Okay. So what are a couple of things? Give me a few moments, and there are a few things that you can learn from a closed door. Okay. There are a few things you can learn from a closed door because I'm trying to increase your level of gratitude to the closed door. I know it's easy to celebrate the open door. I want you to increase your level of gratitude for the closed door. Here's the first thing. You have to realize that disappointment is not denial. Disappointment is not denial. Just because you got to the door and it didn't open and you're disappointed does not mean that God has denied you what he promised. Listen, oh God, listen here. God is simply removing the choices that are not profitable or helpful for where you're going. I can't hear nobody but God. Listen, God is simply removing the choices that aren't profitable or helpful for where you're going and what he promised. He refines our vision by narrowing down the choices that we have. Almighty. Listen to that. He refines our vision by narrowing down the choices that we have. Sometimes we get excited because we have many doors, but he wants to refocus our attention so that what's next manifests, and it manifests with maturity. Somebody got to type in the comments, this next thing got to manifest with maturity. Come on, you got to tell me, this next thing got to manifest with maturity. This next thing has to manifest with maturity. God have mercy. There are some things that you might have been praying for a long time. It's not a surprise to God. He just wants to make sure that you're ready. Okay. All right, here's the second thing. I only had 3. Here's the second thing. The hardest part of the journey is the corridor called in between. Sometimes we miss our moment because we are not settled in waiting. Sometimes we miss our moment because we are not settled in waiting. We are happy for the open door, but we don't like the waiting period when we're at the closed door. We are happy for the open door, but we don't like the waiting at the closed door. Because in this waiting, it makes us feel like we want to give up. It makes us feel the pressure of the wait. It makes us feel the pressure to push beyond what we know. It's a part of the process that grows us and increase our faith. Here's the thing. What do you do while you're waiting? Okay. What do you do while you're waiting? Because there's a set of qualities that are developed while you wait. There are a set of qualities that are developed while you wait. And some of you have gotten so anxious. Why? Oh God, help me here. We out here, God. It's because you're measuring your time frame based off of everybody around you. And if you're not moving as fast as they are moving, or you don't seem to be growing as fast as they are growing, you seem to think that you're behind schedule, when the truth of the matter is you're right on target. God is literally sending some of us through closed door seasons because he wants to sift out everything. Because listen, there are some people that ain't going to wait with you at the closed door. There are some people that only want to be around you when you're at the open door. But there are some people that God will strategically place in your life at the closed door that will strengthen you in the waiting season, because they believe that there is manifestation beyond the door. And if they can wait long enough on this side of the door, then they can prepare to actually embrace the fullness of what's on the other side of the door. But the problem is we only want the open door. But I've learned a level of gratitude for the closed door, because God has a way of showing me things of why the door closed. He has a way of showing me why did you have to close the door? Because there were some people that stepped through the door that couldn't go with me. There were some people that if he didn't close the door, I'd have dragged them over the threshold with me. Come on here. I can't hear nobody but God. There are some people that we will actually drag over the threshold of the open door, and God never told them to come to the door. Okay. Because there are some of us, because we love people, because we've been loyal to people, because we want to see them succeed, we will try to drag them across the threshold of our open door, and they were not prepared to even go into where we were going, but we will drag them. So sometimes God has to close the door for a period of time to sift out what don't belong to you. Tell somebody, he's sifting out what don't belong to me. Type in the comments, he's sifting out what don't belong to me. The closed door is allowing him to sift out what don't belong to me. I don't want to carry anything into my new season that don't belong to me. So if I got to wait at this side of the door, at this corridor called, oh my God, I'm going to preach that. This corridor called in between. Because there's a level of maturity that happens in this corridor called in between. Why? Because I got to walk in faith. Why? Because I got to walk blindly with God. Why? Because I got to walk trusting God. Why? Because I got to learn how to stand in adversity. Why? Because I got to build my resilience in the middle of the storm. Why? Because this corridor might be lonely. Why? Because this corridor might got more questions than it got answers. Why? Because this corridor may be a little dark. Ain't no light in this corridor, but I am going to sit in this corridor called in between until God opens up the door, because I want to steward the door well. Okay. Somebody should just type that. I want to steward the door well. I want to steward the door well. Come on here. I don't want to get to an open door, go through it, and don't know how to handle the door. I want to steward the door well. Okay, here's the last thing, because I've already held y'all too long. Here's the last thing. Your waiting is not wasted. Your waiting is not wasted. The waiting time is not wasted or fruitless. It is actually the point in time where God develops us, and he shapes and molds us into the very resilient one that can handle the door. You are disregarding the waiting, and you're missing the seeds and the fruit of the waiting. You're disregarding the waiting period, and you're missing the seeds and the fruit of the waiting. Because here, let's think, let's talk about it. Many of us, some of us wish we would have waited in certain seasons. I can't hear nobody. Come on here. Some of us wish we would have waited in certain seasons. Some of us literally on the other side wish we would have just waited a little while longer. We wish we wouldn't have made the decision too quick. We wish that God would have just gave me a couple more days and I would. Some of us have to realize that there's a level of fruit that's produced in the season of waiting. What do you mean, Dr. Vaughn? Because there's a time that happens between when the seed is planted and when you see the fruit on the vine. There's a period of time in between where the seed is planted and when you see the visual fruit on the vine. Now, listen here. It is the fruit in the seed in the dirt, but you don't see the manifestation of the visible fruit until it's on the vine. But in between the time that it's the fruit in the dirt in the ground, and in between the time that it becomes the manifestation on the vine, there's a period of waiting. But listen here, there is something happening in that waiting period. Oh God, I don't have time to teach that. There is a period, there is something that glory to God. There is a period of something happening in between the time that the fruit is in the ground, in the dirt, and when the fruit comes on the vine. Here's the thing, it's still the fruit in the dirt. It's still the fruit in the ground. But the fruit changes its position. The fruit changes its disposition when it becomes on the vine. But there's something that happens between the time the fruit goes in the dirt as a seed and the time it comes on the vine. Listen, it's not fruitless. You're despising the waiting period, but you don't understand that there's a shaping in the waiting period. There's a development in the waiting period. There's a strength in the waiting period. There's a resilience in the waiting period. There's an impartation happening in the waiting period. There's some development happening in the waiting period. And you're trying to go from the fruit in the ground to the fruit on the vine without waiting. Somebody just type, my waiting ain't wasted. Just put it in the comments. My waiting is not wasted. My waiting is not wasted. There is something happening. There is something happening in this waiting period. But my question to you is, can you celebrate while you're waiting? I just came on here to talk to you about gratitude for closed doors. It's easy for us to shout and dance. God gonna give me the open door. It's easy to shout that God gonna give me an open door, because the open door is gonna come with the flow, milk and honey. The open door is gonna come with the blessing. The open door is gonna come with the money. The open door gonna come with the business. The open door gonna come with the marriage. The open door gonna come with the job. It's easy to shout and dance over the open door, but can you actually celebrate the closed door? Can you have a gratitude that God knew better than you to close the door before that door killed you? Can you celebrate that God knew better, that he had to close the door so you ain't take the wrong thing into the door? Can you celebrate that God had to close the door because the door was a trap? Oh God. Oh, okay, I'm going too far. Can you celebrate the fact that he closed the door because he needed you to go to another door? You wanted to go to the cute door. He wanted you to go down the hallway. Can you celebrate the fact that he closed the door because he had something greater waiting for you? Or are you going to try to beat down a door that he closed simply because you want it? No, I've learned to be grateful for the closed door. Why? Because I serve a God that has already mapped out my journey. I serve a God that has already strategically designed every step of my journey. So if he closed the door, he must either be protecting me from something or preparing me for something. Hear me clearly. He must be protecting me from something or preparing me for something. Somebody need to grab that and text that in the comments yourself. The closed door is protecting me from something or preparing me for something. So what am I going to do? I'm going to celebrate, because whether or not he's protecting me from something or preparing me for something, it's all working good for me. It's all working good for me. So I just wanted to talk to somebody, because I feel that many of us are frustrated because there are some things we thought will pan out before December 31st. And the truth of the matter is some of them are not. Some of them, that's right, Charlene, some of them, we thought they were going to pan out before December 31st. And the truth of the matter is Some of the things that we wrote on that vision board ain't going to happen before December 31st. Because some of us got some more work to do on this side of the door. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Some of us got some more work to do on this side of the door before he takes us through the open door. Some of us got some self-work that we got to do on this side of the door. Some of us got some things that we got to let go of on this side of the door. Some of us got some things we got to be purged from on this side of the door. Because if he opens up the door now, you will contaminate what's on the other side of the door. If he opened up the door right now, you would contaminate what's on the other side of the door. You would infect what's on the other side of the door. Because you're still carrying around some stuff that can't go into the next. So I'm challenging you today. Thank God for the closed door. Thank God for the closed door. God is either protecting you from something or preparing you for something. He's either protecting you from something or preparing you for something. Either way, it works for your good. So I ask you the question, can you celebrate and be grateful for the closed door? Can you be grateful for the closed door? It wasn't to hurt you. It's really for your good. But we have gotten so anxious and so frustrated and disturbed by the closed door that we fail to step back and say, God, reveal to me why this door is closed. And so that's all I wanted to talk to you about today, is literally gratitude for the closed door. Sometimes it might have hurt your feelings. It might have been uncomfortable. It may have seemed unfair. You may didn't like it. All of that good, great stuff. That's very, very true. But after you get over all of those emotions, sometimes you got to step back and say, well, God, if you closed it, you know something I don't. So thank you. You know something I don't. So thank you. And so I hope that you have liked and shared this with somebody. Somebody else may need this same little push that that the Lord has given me to share with you on today. So listen, share it with somebody, like and share it. If you have not already done so, make sure you go down there to the bottom of the screen. Go to the website, www.shavonnawhitehead.com. Make sure you subscribe with us. Make sure you stay connected with us. Listen, in case you don't know, the Restore Your Roar experience is coming May 3rd through the 5th, 2024. Early bird registration is going all the way through to December 31st. I think it's either $60 off or $70 off, one of the two, but it's a wonderful discount if you register before December the 31st. Again, the Restore Your Roar experience is coming to Baltimore May 3rd through the 5th, 2024. We will be here in Baltimore. Early bird registration, I'm actually going to post it on my page as soon as we get off of here. Early bird registration is through December the 31st. So please take advantage. I pray that you would meet me in the room. You can either come hang out with me Friday and Saturday, or you can just come and hang out with us on that Saturday. We have discounts on the rooms and everything. So listen, come on. Here it is. We come to restore, overcome, affirm, and release. Yep, that's what we came to do. We came to restore, overcome, affirm, and release. Why? Because there's power in our voice, and we came out with something to say. So I hope that you will join me May the 3rd through the 5th, 2024, right here in Baltimore, Maryland. Thank you so much. And so I love you. I plan to meet. Listen, Charlene, come on and hang out with me that Saturday. Early bird registration discount is on both the weekend as well as the Saturday. So I'm going to post the link as soon as we get off of here. I want you guys to hang out with me. Why? Because something happens when you get in the room. I can't hear nobody. Somebody need to type that. Somebody that's been at the Restore Your Roar experience should tell them. Something happens when you get in the room. Something happens when you get in the room. And so I'm super excited. Marnay is on here. She's actually one of our vendors. Listen, I want you to come on in the room and come and hang out with me. We are going, listen, God is taking us deeper. God is pulling us closer. But most of all, God is unlocking some things in us that some of us didn't even know was there. We're coming for healing and wholeness. So I love each and every one of you. Stay connected to me. Thank you for trusting me. Listen, we'll be back here when? Next Tuesday at 1 p.m. for Lunchtime Empowerment Talks with Dr. Vaughn. Until then, have an amazing holiday season. Even if you don't have all the gifts that you want, you're alive and well. You're watching me now. So, which means you can create moments, you can create memories, you can spend time with family, you can spend time with friends. Love on somebody and hug on somebody. Listen, I love you. I want you to have an amazing holiday season. And listen, be grateful even for what? The closed door. All right. Have a great day, everyone.